The chat, that's right. We all up in that thing on Nesson as well. There we break down all things Boston sports and pop culture. Plus, I heard there's a big game this week. Something about Sunday. Oh, yeah, the Super Bowl. We break that down, too. Check it out. Boston Has Entered the Chat can be found on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever else you get your podcast. Yeah, buddy. Hold my banner time. That's right. And I ain't rolling alone. Nope. Rolling with you all and the walking, talking triple-double, Ante Campbell. Say hi, Ante.
What's up? How y'all
doing? George Balecki. Say hi, GB.
What up? What up?
And I, Travis Thomas, here with you on Hold My Banner. And obviously, the NBA world has completely changed since the last Hold My Banner. We did episode 100. We celebrated. We cut a cake. We talked a little Celtics, talked a little NBA, and then voila, the NBA world blew up. So here we are to break it all down. And you know where we're starting. We have to talk the Luka trade. Now, obviously, we had a multitude of big trades around the league. We'll get into them all, but none bigger than this one. So here it is, Luka and Anthony Davis. Obviously, there were more pieces involved, including a first-round pick in 2029. But the big heavies here, maybe pun intended, Luka and Anthony Davis. I just want to say, because we're all going to go back and forth here, I want to lead off with saying that the Lakers fleeced the Mavericks. If you're in the comment section saying that the Mavericks won the trade, because I've heard a ton of that, I couldn't disagree with you more. I think at 25 years old, can I just say this to be fair, to set the table for us? If we're all being honest about some of the decisions we made at 25 years old, if our employers, if our exes, if our family members, if our close friends could go back and tell stories about what we were at 25.
Yeah.
I mean, is it fair to say maybe, just maybe we were a little bit immature at 25? But as you mature, as you grow, as you evolve, you get better and better, and you learn from your past mistakes. Luka is not going to be fat forever. Luka is not going to not take conditioning forever. Luka's not going to drink a beer in a celebration in the locker room forever. Yeah. He's going to mature. I don't understand for the life of me the Mavericks saying we don't want to invest in this guy because he doesn't take things seriously. He's 25. Let him grow. How about you help him grow? I don't give a damn. I love Anthony Davis. I do. But this was one of the worst trades I've ever seen, and it was shocking as all hell. None of us saw it coming. And if the Mavericks did their due diligence, which is something George talks about in every G-damn sport, do your due diligence, right? If the Mavericks do that, I can guarantee that they get something better back for the history, for the future of their franchise, more so than Anthony Davis. And I love him, but it's not enough for Luka. I'm off my soapbox. Ante, the floor is yours.
Look, Travis, you already know how I feel about this. This is a lose-lose trade, and I'll double down on this. I'll say it all again because it's been going viral on the internet with me saying that's a lose-lose trade. This is a lose-lose trade. If you have to ask me in the short term who wins, I would say, okay, probably Mavericks. I'm actually against you. If you ask me in the long term, possibly it could be the Lakers. But if the Lakers do not re-sign Luka Doncic to a contract, which he has this season, next season, and then he has a player option after that, which he's going to opt out. He's going to opt out and see what the money is that he can get on the table. If the Lakers can't get him to sign an extension this summer and lock in with him, it's a lose for them. No question about that. Because what they got in this situation is another 40-year-old version of LeBron James. A guy who is great offensively, fantastic, one of the league's best offensively, but defensively, the Luka has shown us that he is not that guy consistently. He gave us a 15, 16 game run in the playoffs, and then when he got to the finals, he ran out of gas and he didn't show up on the defensive end, and it hurt that Mavericks team. Why would the Lakers commit again to a player who has not shown the ferocity on the defensive end when they got that for LeBron? LeBron won championship in Los Angeles. It's great. But when you talk about the Los Angeles Lakers, I mean, when they moved from Minneapolis to Los Angeles, they moved to Inglewood and played in the Fabulous Forum, a place where I am from.
That's right.
City of Champions is the nickname of Inglewood.
And Brockton, Massachusetts.
And Brockton, Massachusetts.
He's not wrong.
But we don't talk one championship in Los Angeles.
Right.
We talk multiple. We talk dynasties.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Kobe gave you. That's what Magic gave you. That's what Shaq gave you.
Mm-hmm.
Will Luka be able to do that? Not playing the style that he played in Dallas, and you can't be sure that he even wants to wear that Lakers purple and gold after 2 years from now.
Look, should Lucas get on a treadmill and get in shape? Yeah.
Yeah.
Does his body break down towards the end? Is he dealing with injuries?
Yes.
Is he just simply gassed, especially when he's taking on bigger, stronger wings like what the Celtics have?
That's right.
And should he stop bitching at the refs left and right constantly, picking up frustration fouls at the end of games in a game that the Mavericks could win and then single-handedly costing the Mavericks a game because he's fouling out? Yes, yes, yes. He's the second best player in the world. He's only 25 years old, 5 straight seasons of being all NBA. And it's not just being 25 and being immature. It's being 25, it's being immature with millions of dollars your whole life since you've been playing pro basketball since you were 16 years old, being told you were the man. Mm-hmm. There was the red flag during the finals when Brian Windhorst went on his 2-minute diatribe of his coaches, his teammates, execs. Nobody can tell him. There it gets to be a point where you have to correct yourself, and he's costing it. And he went off on him on TV, national TV, and in writing. And when that happens, especially from a guy like Windy, you know there's smoke. And when there's smoke, there's fire.
That's right.
But with all of that, he's Luka effing Doncic. He's one of 3 types of players in the world. There's Jokic, there's Doncic, and there's Giannis. You could throw in an SGA. You can throw in a Tatum. You can throw in Wemby. Excuse me. Hold on. There's 4 players in the world. Sorry.
Slow down, son.
Tay, I'm on your show. Trav, I'm on your show.
Wemby, son.
I'm all in on Wemby, too.
Yeah.
But they're a legitimate 4 guys.
Yeah, now.
And then there's that tier of the SGAs and the Tatum.
That's right.
There are now 4 guys in the world that have that magnitude to them.
Yeah.
What Nico Harrison did is the dumbest thing ever. And then when he has time to think about it, and he has that press conference with Jason Kidd, he goes, I got to thank Rob Pelinka. I mean, it's hard to keep this a secret. Dude, no duh, Pelinka kept it a secret. He didn't want anyone else knowing because they would drive up the price.
Fleecing you.
Yeah.
I get getting AD, and you have an actual center next to him in Derek Lively.
Yeah.
You have a good defensive foundation of a team. You have Kyrie Irving, but let's see if he can stay healthy and also show up in the playoffs. I get it in the short term. But Luka is a guy that can give you 40, 10, and 10 any damn night for the next 10 years.
Yes.
Does he need to improve and get in shape? Yes. You don't trade away players like that. You simply don't. If his red flag is getting in shape instead of soft tissue injuries like a Joel Embiid, I will ride with that Luka Doncic red flag. And let's face it, AD, now all of a sudden is available. It's been 1 season out of the last 6.
Yeah.
It's been 1 season out of the last 6 years. He finally played 70 or more games.
Talk it. And that's why I say lose-lose, because the Mavericks are going to say, oh, well, Luka's not in shape, but AD and Kyrie are. They've missed multiple playoff runs for their former teams. So
Kyrie disappears on the big stage.
Exactly.
He went MIA.
And Anthony Davis has as well. So, it's scary to say, hey, we're doing this. And I'm with you. I think Nico Harrison deserves, to get a knock on the door, phone call, like, hey, maybe not fire, but like, hey, bro, this is a knock.
You Joe Pesci is out.
Listen, I'll be honest. I don't think you have to do anything to him right now. It's pretty clear to me he'll play himself.
He has to continue to be the fall guy.
He already played himself.
Hold on, forget that fall guy. What has he done?
That's right.
What has he done?
He traded Luka.
He fumbled. Okay, let's go back.
He fumbled Brunson.
No. Well, let's go even further back.
Yeah.
He was with Nike and fumbled the Steph Curry deal.
Was that him for sure?
That was him.
Yep.
All right.
Then you go back to KP. He sent KP off
Porzingis.
Kristaps Porzingis off to the Wizards for Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans.
Hey, let me jump in. I was in D.C. at the time covering the Wizards. We were making fun of him in the Mavs.
Right. And then,
for the record,
he let Brunson walk for nothing, even though Brunson was willing to sign a 122 for 5 years kind of deal somewhere in that range to stay with the Dallas Mavericks.
That's right.
And then when we're recording this episode, as I'm walking in, I
Caleb
see
Martin.
that he's traded, for Caleb Martin to give up Quentin Grimes and a second round pick. So I'm sitting here seeing that's like a nothing move, and also you gave up draft capital to go get essentially a very similar player. I won't say the same.
He's a defensive role player, Ante.
But
that's
it's
what
the
he
same
is.
caliber of player. Like,
He's a defensive role player.
I'm not understanding what this man is doing. Like, what did Kendrick say? This man is out there spiraling.
He's
spiraling right now.
I think in the short term, and I'm not defending him.
Yes.
But I think in the short term, the Mavericks think, okay, we're going to be defensive. In a Western Conference, when you look around and you got all these SGAs and Jokic and all these guys that can put the ball in the hole.
Yeah.
Where we have AD, the neutralizer, they think, for Jokic and Wemby and these guys.
Yeah.
Now we add another wing defender in Caleb Martin. That's what I think short term they're thinking. And then when we need a bucket, Kyrie can get it for us. My issue with that thinking is one of the reasons they lost in the finals, okay? Aside from Luka running out of gas, which did happen. And Kyrie never plays well here in Boston. But aside from that, it felt a lot like the other players on the team, certainly your other three in the starting lineup, but even coming off the bench, it felt like guys were standing around watching Kyrie and Luka cook.
Right. Yeah.
So my issue with the short-term thinking of the Mavericks now, defensive, we're going to do it with defense. When you need a bucket, you got one guy that can take people off the dribble and go get it, and he's not the most consistent
After they
star.
traded for P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford, they had a top 3 defense in the NBA.
That's right. That's right.
They were there defensively.
They doubled down on
They lost
it.
in the finals to
That's
a
right.
top 10 team in the history of the league.
That's right.
It was an awful matchup for Luka and Kyrie because they had Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Derek White, who at the basis of it are just bigger and stronger and better and can stop them. It was what Lou Dort did to Luka, where OKC created problems for him. Well, there was 4 Lou Dorts, but taller, faster, stronger. They had a top 3 defense.
Right.
That's where Nico Harrison loses me with all of it. Defense wins championships. You were in the finals.
That's right.
He's 5-time All-NBA. He's not 35 now. He's 25, coming off his 5th All-NBA. And then the quotes that come out, real quick, this is what he put verbatim. Basketball conversations more than a month ago. Then all of a sudden we're like, would you ever do this? Nah, you're joking, right? Was Pelinka's response. And then he goes, interesting. Maybe I would. Then it just built over and over the last 3 weeks. You don't at least shop it around? Like that. It's again, I get it, the defense, and I understand like AD slots in well with this Mavericks team.
Sure.
It makes sense.
He does.
The fact that this trade was out for over 10 hours and still people were like, no way, this is real. The fact that Shams had to say, I am not hacked. This trade is happening.
I thought he was hacked.
If you're Nico Harrison, you're thinking you just did the trade. Oh, yeah, awesome. I saved this money. I got AD. And then you're looking at your timeline. Bro, this guy, I feel bad for Nico Harrison. I really do.
Even Jason Kidd gave him the side eye.
He can never show his face again.
I can't feel bad for him because when he went to Patrick Dumont, the Mavs owner, and he said, hey, this trade might be happening, Patrick looked at him and laughed. So you should have known then that this was a bad idea.
Wow.
So, how do you not say anything?
And I hate this smear campaign that's coming out about Luka and like his weight and all that
it's only him.
stuff.
It's
he
only
looks
him.
good to me in pictures.
He looks good.
He looks good.
But look,
I'm not a photo guy.
He had his press conference today, and they had the opportunity to ask him, hey, how do you think about these comments about Luka, about yourself and everything like that? And we want you guys to take a listen.
I'm just excited, to be here to start this new journey, and obviously, at some point I knew this was going to happen. But I would say I always take the high road. I had my amazing moments in Dallas with all my teammates, coaches, and the most importantly, the fans. They always supported me, and it was an amazing journey.
Boy, he looks pretty svelte to me. He looks pretty lean right there to me. I mean, I didn't see any double chin action. I didn't see any bacon grease on his nice sweater.
All right,
he looks in shape to me.
Let's not act like he has 4% body fat. Like the guy can put on some muscle.
I was expecting the Goodyear blimp. You let the Mavs tell it. He looks good to me. And now this is his villain arc. Oh, you want to run me out of town?
Oh, yeah.
He even said in this press conference Some of this stuff drives me nuts in the media. And I wish I wasn't a studio gangster running my mouth all the time and I was at some of these press conferences, because this guy, Luka, said out of his mouth, he goes, well, I can't say I'm that surprised. I kind of had a feeling this would happen one day. And not a single bleeper in that room asked a follow-up.
Why?
What do you mean? Why did you feel that way? And then we could have got the tea from Luka. They just moved on to the next thing. So what do you think about LeBron, bro? Like, what are you doing? But regardless, this is a perfect villain arc for Luka now. You think I'm fat? You don't want to pay me? You think I have bad work ethics? Cool. I'm 25. Guess what I'm going to do? Terrorize you for the next decade. I'm going to rip your heart out every time I play Dallas, and you know he's going to do it. What the Lakers hope is that he has that mentality for everybody now. That's what you need. Light that fire. Learn from LeBron.
Yeah, get in shape. Take care of your body.
Learn from LeBron how to take care of your body. Learn from LeBron how to be a pro.
The best person to learn from, honestly,
is a guy
about taking care of your body. I mean, there's all the stories about LeBron spilling millions and millions of dollars on his body every single year. So what a guy to learn from in that aspect. Now, once again, we cannot be sure that this team is going to stay together. So I want everybody to think about that. They have not signed a center, as I'm scrolling through Sham's tweets right now over and over. So we can't be sure that they're going to be happy playing basketball together. Paul Pierce came out and said that he doesn't think this is going to work, and that might just be a Lakers hater out of him, because we know he's a forever Celtic at this point. But, I'm on the same, avenue as him, where I'm thinking, there's only one ball. These dudes are both ball dominant. Will LeBron finally let somebody else take the reins and play through Luka? Because he told us that he was going to play through AD for millions and millions of years, and we never saw it. Will he actually play through Luka? That's the biggest question.
Last word on this, George. What say you?
What I think of all this, too, is I actually do feel bad for Anthony Davis, where he finally got in shape. He finally started playing basketball games, and he's going to walk into Dallas, and he's going to be hated. And it's not his fault. Yeah. It's not Luka's fault. It's not the fans' fault. It's Nico Harrison's fault. You're the guy we traded Luka Doncic for. Anthony Davis, all-time great of the game.
Yes.
But Luka Doncic is all-time in the generation of this game and of this sport right now. And he was going to be the guy for the next 10 years. Whatever Anthony Davis's return is, there still is. It should have been Luka. People carried a casket in front of that arena. Like, actually, there was a casket put in front of their arena.
Yes, it was.
Fandom died. And I understand the conspiracy theories. Well, they're trying to get a casino deal, Dale, and move to Vegas. Bro, it's Texas. A 16-year-old can walk into Walmart and get a rifle.
That's a fact.
Gambling's going to happen. Casinos are going to come. It's just money and lobbying. That's all it is. Yeah. Bad ownership Bad ownership's the only thing that can overcome actual greatness. It was LeBron in Cleveland, and he was running the show a lot behind the scenes. We've seen this time and time again. Dude, Nico Harrison, all-time moron, in my opinion. He credits Rob Pelinka for keeping his secret for a month. Why do you think Rob did that? Or we're going to get into the De'Aaron Fox trade. The Kings got 6 draft picks for De'Aaron Fox. 6. You got 1, and it was 4 years from now. The stupidity of all of this. That's what drives me nuts. I don't know what players it is. No player, no draft picks would have made it okay unless his name is Victor Wembanyama.
Right.
That's the only thing that would have made it okay in my eyes. Maybe Giannis Antetokounmpo. Nothing would have really made it okay with trading Luka, but there is a part of and that's it. Nico Harrison, sorry, bud, man. You know what? Just good for you fleecing the bag and getting yourself into these rooms and getting paid way more than you ever should. Just take it and run at this point. Retire to an island somewhere.
I mean, I will give George this. He is consistent. He constantly says no matter what sport, when it comes to trades, free agency, draft, hiring coaches, firing coaches, just do your due diligence, do your job, do the work, do the homework necessary to be successful. This was an example where the Mavericks did not do that. Now, I will give the NBA credit here. They want to create better ratings. Boy, are you not generating interest with all these damn trades. Now, Luka was a big one coming up next. We'll tell you another star who was traded that kind of shifts some power in the NBA as well. We'll get to that. But first, want to hear all about Boston sports? Check out Nesson's daily sports podcast. Boston has entered the chat. You, too, can enter the conversation by tweeting at us using the hashtag NessonChat, or you can always email the chat@nesson.com. Boston has entered the chat is available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever else podcasts are found. All right, so let's get into it because, we teased this. De'Aaron Fox now traded to the Spurs.
Good for him.
So here on Hold My Banner, we went through all of this drama. So there were other pieces to this as well, but the big one, De'Aaron Fox on the move to the Spurs. Bulls, Zach LaVine goes to the Kings. So let's talk about this because here on Hold My Banner, we had laid out the De'Aaron Fox drama. Mm-hmm. Reports had come out. He wanted to go to the Spurs. He was buying houses in San Antonio. He's like, I'm playing with Wemby. Regardless if I get traded here or not, I will sign with the Spurs as a free agent. Yeah. I am not signing an extension with the Kings. So we talked on here, well, you can't just force your way to places, i.e. Jimmy Butler. More on him later in the program. But you can't force yourself to places. So they're going to trade you where they trade you to, where they can get the best value. Well, sure enough, he gets his wish. He ends up with the Spurs. And remember, Ante, De'Aaron Fox denied all these reports.
Yes.
We found out false. You wanted to go to the Spurs because that's what you got. I will say this. Good for the Spurs. Unlike where Ante said lose-lose, Lakers, Mavs, in his opinion, on this trade, I think it's a win-win for both sides.
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox just wanted to go to the Spurs. He's going to be happy with the Spurs. He'll sign an extension there. And him and Wemby, you want to talk about a 1-2 punch. I know we're talking about LeBron and Luka, but my God, De'Aaron Fox and Wemby work stylistically. Seems like their personalities should, in theory, mesh. Mm-hmm. I just think this is a huge, huge win for the Spurs. They are back. They may not necessarily be winning championships back, but they are relevant. They will be a consistent playoff team. And we all know if you make the playoffs in the NBA, you got a shot. Okay, so the Spurs are back. For the Kings, I don't necessarily think Zach LaVine and DeRozan stylistically work.
I mean, we saw it already.
I know, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You're right.
Big picture. Mm-hmm. However, they're two bona fide stars, and you do have Sabonis. So I still like that there's a big three intact there. And to George's point, I like that they got a return for De'Aaron Fox. I mean, think about this. He's holding their feet to the fire as a franchise. I want to go here, I want to go here. And they still got a really good return on him. Yeah. I mean, the Mavs could have learned from that, right? So I like what the Kings are doing in terms of the future. And I am interested to see LaVine in the playoffs because I do think the Kings are going to make the playoffs still. And I want to see. Everyone calls him a loser. You never won anything. You're just empty calories. Okay, well, go prove that maybe some contenders should be looking at you, Zach LaVine. You'll have your chance. I think they will make the playoffs, and I want to see him ball out in the playoffs. This is a win-win, but the Spurs want it better. What do you say, Tay?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about the Kings situation just because, I've seen LaVine and DeRozan without a point guard before in Chicago because Lonzo got hurt, Caruso got hurt, and they were left without a point guard.
Right.
This Kings roster now does not really have a point guard anymore. You know what I mean? It might be Malik Monk. I don't know who's going to start. You know what I mean? It might be Keon Ellis. We don't know. They might play through, you know what I mean, Sabonis like you were saying. And, he might be the point guard kind of in a Jokic role where, these guys bring it up, but he's really the point guard and we're playing through him, right?
Sure.
Which they didn't have in Chicago.
Right.
Vucevic is a great big, but he's not that kind of a playmaking big.
Right.
So I'm a little nervous about that situation, but I do agree with you. I do think this is a win-win-win trade because you can't forget about the Chicago Bulls here finally buying into the tank. I mean, finally into the tank.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, they're 3 seasons too late, but they're finally buying into the tank. They
finally are.
And so with the Kings getting a gaggle of picks back, still being a playoff team, like you said, hopefully maybe they're not done at this deadline. Maybe they go try to get a point guard who can help them out.
Maybe.
And, smooth over this transition. I mean, the Spurs, maybe they trade with them again because they got a gaggle of point guards at this point. Or maybe one of those point guards get waived by the Spurs and they pick them up. So, I do like this from that position. And, of course, from the Spurs position, I love this. Wemby and De'Aaron Fox. What more can you ask for? I love Stephon Castle still being there. I love that they kept Devin Vassell. They kept Keldon Johnson. They kept a lot of their young wings as well in this deal, which was really, really surprising for them. They didn't have to give up much. I mean, Zach Collins, okay. You know what I mean?
Trey Jones,
okay.
get out of here.
Bye.
You know what I mean?
Wait, you don't like City Sissoko and his outlook down the line?
Who?
No,
3 minutes a night, City Sissoko?
I'm not worried about City Sissoko. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is in that situation. So, I really do like this deal for the Kings as well.
That's what jumped out to me in all
excuse
this. Yeah, for the Spurs. That's what jumped out to me on all this, Tay, I was like, wait, Stephon Castle stayed in San Antonio?
Yeah.
Because the Spurs have 6 or 7 players, I believe, scoring 10 or more points.
Yeah.
And out of those guys, you have Wemby, who's 21, Stephon Castle, who's 20, Devin Vassell might be 21, and then
I
Keldon
think
Johnson, who you
older.
mentioned, I think he's 24, 25.
Yeah.
Like, they have such a young core now. And then you have De'Aaron Fox, who isn't even 28 or 29 yet.
crazy.
Like, he's going to be there the next 5 years.
That's crazy.
Yes, he's a score-first guard, but that's also a guy that can play in the pick and roll with Victor Wembanyama. And this is a defensive liability, but you just paired him up with a shot eraser and one of the best defensive players in the league, if not the best defensive player in the league. Like, you can cover up those deficiencies. This was such a good trade by the Spurs. They kept the young core.
Yep.
They obviously continue to get better around their future supernova superstar
Right.
Yep.
who could future be the best player in the league. I think he will be that.
I do too.
And you brought in a guy that's a leader that has playoff experience. And you know what this says about De'Aaron Fox? He wants to win.
That's
Yes.
what I'm
He
saying.
wanted to go to San Antonio.
That's right.
Miami, Boston, Knicks,
Yeah.
you name it. All these places. He wanted to go to San and effing Antonio.
Yeah, dude.
The
His wife-
Spurs won this. Hey, Western Conference Finals by 2026. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Yep.
be remiss to not mention that his wife is from San Antonio. He's actually wearing number 4 to pay homage to his wife, who wore 4 at Texas Tech. So
My man with the research. Love it.
He is from, he does have
Right.
a little bit of ties
And-
to San Antonio.
And I don't
But I'm
want to
with
get
you.
into it. The dynamic of breadwinners, though. Like, if my wife's a lawyer,
Right.
and I'm from San Antonio, but she's like, but I got this job at this firm.
He's also from Houston. He's
No,
also
but you
from
get
Houston.
it's San Antonio.
But-
It's not Austin,
He could
Texas.
have
the
forced the
street from
Rockets.
Texas.
He could have forced the Rockets. He didn't do that.
No, but
I'm just saying all of it, but I get what you're saying.
Yes,
respect. Like,
that's
it
all
worked.
I'm saying. And I love this deal for him once again because this team. I mean, I didn't even mention that they kept Jeremy Shaw on as well. You know what I'm saying? This team has an opportunity to be
21
a force
years old.
in this playoffs. Like, depending on how the rest of this season shakes out, and they might surprise a lot of people. It might get a couple wins, maybe even win a series in the playoffs with De'Aaron Fox joining this team. So, what a great get by the San Antonio Spurs.
By the way, guys, I mean, not for nothing. We don't know. You know, Popovich is dealing with health issues.
Right.
That could be a really intriguing head coaching
yes,
vacancy.
vacancy.
If that's to happen, if Pop goes ahead and retires and said, "Hey, listen,
Right.
you know," I would imagine someone like him has a succession plan. Probably
Yeah.
someone in house that he likes.
I'm trying to think of who
which
would
is
be
great.
who would be that top head coach out there.
Well, I don't know who they have in
Yeah.
house.
But to your point, it's a
but
coveted job. It's not just Wemby; it's this roster.
That's right.
Like,
Okay.
this is such a good job by the Spurs.
All right, let me ask you about 2 other superstars who
Yes.
could be on the move here. Jimmy Butler and Bradley Beal. We'll start with Jimmy Butler because he's the most drawn.
Yeah.
At this point, reportedly,
Yep.
this guy has told every contender in the league, I ain't coming there. I mean, what? He's told teams, he told the Warriors reportedly, I ain't signing an extension. He's telling teams, don't even trade for me.
Yeah.
He is obsessed with the Suns. I don't get it. But Bradley Beal, meanwhile, is like, yeah, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I got a no trade. I'm not effing leaving.
I'm not effing leaving. Oh, I have a microphone right
okay.
here. I'm not effing leaving.
Everyone wants to be in Phoenix? Question mark. What happens with Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, I think he's going to end up being a Miami Heat. And I
Oh!
said, and I went and I was on the Clippers trade and I was on that
Wow.
trade. But, as we kept getting closer and closer to the deadline, I think that he's forced his hand and essentially he will finish this season as a Miami Heat. That's where I personally think this is going.
Ooh.
Is he taking that player option for $52 million? Like, he wants to hit free agency. Dude, just take the $52 million bag. Your game has left you. Your athleticism isn't there anymore.
Yes.
It's all the foul baiting and get to the free throw line. True shooting percentage. Look at the impact offensively on the floor. It's not there anymore. And this headache you've become. huge Jimmy Butler fan. I was until how this rolls out. And then the Miami Heat is like, hey, we'll get you to a contender. He's like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to go there. I just take your $52 million bag. You set yourself up to get paid. And then just like, let this just be amicable. You're in Miami. Like, you're in a good culture with Bam Adebayo. Get the $52 million bag and then go to Phoenix in free agency. Like,
I think it's too late.
I don't understand.
I think it's too
really
late.
don't understand what goes
And
through
I
some
don't
people's minds.
understand the
Man.
Phoenix stuff because we're hearing that
It is too late for it to be amicable.
KD's getting shopped now. You know what I mean? Bradley Beal at some point is probably going to leave this team, even though he says he doesn't want to leave. So, you know, I think the Jimmy to Phoenix train is shipped. It's not happening.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I don't think this kiss and make up or – them being civil.
I didn't say it was making up. It's not happening.
Them being civil towards each other. I don't think any of that's happening. I think Pat Riley's going to trade this guy to the absolute just dreck of the league. You know where he's going to end up?
He was going to end up in Memphis, and he said no.
No, Memphis. I know. He's telling contenders no. You know where Riley's going to send this guy?
Where?
He's going back to Chicago. No, he's going back to Chicago. He'll go back to Chicago. They'll draft Cooper Flag.
You know what?
He'll complain. He'll punch Cooper Flag. Yeah. It's just a mess.
Maybe they'll do it for the buyout, compensation, that type of thing.
Send them back
draft
to Chicago.
picks,
Let them figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Get the money off the books.
What about Bradley Beal?
Send him over the border.
Yeah, exactly. Toronto's a mess.
Portland.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Well, Portland's listen. All right, look. I don't hate Portland's got a lot of young talent.
Hey,
a good fan base.
Portland's 8-1 in their last 9.
I think Portland's not a bad landing spot. So he's not going there.
But he's not going.
Toronto, Chicago, Charlotte. It's going to be a mess.
Brooklyn, bro. He likes his coffee. Go open up a coffee shop in Brooklyn, bro.
Yeah. Now, Bradley Beal.
Yep.
I'm disgusted by this story. I am. This guy fleeced him and his agent. Yes. I forget his name now. I used to talk about it every day.
Yeah.
Him and his agent fleeced the Washington Wizards.
They did.
And I was the only person at the time with the stones in the media. I don't care if they're watching because it's true. Facts. Check the receipts. I was the only one with stones in the media that said this is stupid. Why are you paying him this super max money and giving Bradley Beal no trade clause? What has he won? What has he done?
Nothing.
And everyone told me I was nuts.
Yeah.
You could build around this guy. All right. Well, how'd that work out? So now he's in Phoenix and he's doing the same thing he did in DC. He's holding the Suns hostage.
Yep.
So I don't think he's going to get moved. Because he says he's not going to get moved. He holds more power in this league than Luka, LeBron. You can name anyone you want.
Yep.
Bradley Beal holds the power, baby. He's a real Game of Thrones. I don't think he leaves Phoenix. What say you two?
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing. I think he's going to stay in Phoenix because he says he doesn't want to uproot his family and all that other stuff, which I get. I understand. You know, he's got to take care of himself. If this Luka deal has showed us anything, is players got to empower themselves. When they have the power, they got to hold on to it and grasp it for dear life. You saw Ant even pleading to his GM, like, please, if you're going to trade me, let me know. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Bradley Beal will end up being a Phoenix Sun once again at the end of this season, just like Jimmy Butler is going to stay in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think he's one of like 5 or 6 players in the league that has a no trade clause too. How do you let that happen?
I don't know.
And then if you're Luka, now you're going with the Lakers. Yeah, I'll sign the Supermax, no trade clause. Throw it in. Like every player at this point wants to have it. I'm just so remiss with him. Like, I'm just over the Bradley Beal saga.
Yes.
Contract's an albatross. His game is not there anymore.
No. Yep.
What team would want him? It's the same of what team wants Jimmy Butler in a $52 million player option.
Right.
What team wants Bradley Beal at this point? But also the command that the Suns are going to have for you to trade away. None of it makes sense.
No.
And it's at the point, too, wherever they end up, it's not going to move the needle. Both of those guys.
Yeah.
They're not what they once were.
That's
Top of their game, Bradley Beal was a bucket. Top of his game, Jimmy Butler was one of the most dangerous guys in the NBA.
That's a good
They're
point.
not at that point anymore.
Well, I tell you what, brother. I mean, you still play at a high level, GB.
Yes,
you
he
know we
does.
appreciate you every time coming on
Try me
Hold
on,
My
guys.
Banner to take you all behind the curtain. We just talk NBA so much in the newsroom, and all these trades are going nuts. And we were like, GB, you got to pull up on us, man. Let's talk about this. So we appreciate you coming through, bro.
Appreciate you
And
guys.
we'll see you next time.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, the show will continue, of course, when we come back. We know LeBron, we know Luka, and that combination is deadly. But just how good can they actually be? Want the latest on the Patriots and the NFL? We'll tell you what Mike Vrabel and the Pats should do with the 4th pick in the upcoming NFL draft. On Nesson's football podcast, Foxborough Rush, you can see me and George on there yelling at each other. It's beautiful. It's available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever else podcasts are found. All right, Tay, let's get into it. Some call us the dynamic duo, but Luka and LeBron, that's one hell of a dynamic duo, my friend.
It is, and that brings me up to this question. Look, stop me when you hear a better duo than Luka Doncic and LeBron James.
Last Hold My Banner, episode 100.
Yes.
Or maybe it wasn't episode 100.
Okay.
When did we do Stop Me When with AD?
That was 2 episomes ago.
That was 2 episodes ago.
99.
I'd never told you this.
Okay.
I got a comment from someone that said that me suggesting that Wemby is better than AD.
Yes.
That I was high as hell was a direct quote, and I just want to thank that person.
That's hilarious.
And deny that
those
was
allegations.
The case.
Yes.
At that time was sober.
Yes.
At that time.
Okay.
All
so. We're going to start off with an easy one. Stop me when you hear a better duo than Luka Doncic and LeBron James.
This is going to be tough.
It is. So we're going to start off easy, and then we're going to get harder.
Okay.
All right? So the first one is a guy you like, a guy you just brought up, by the way.
Who?
Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox.
Okay.
The new duo.
Okay. You're right. This is easy.
Okay.
And usually when you throw Wemby into these, I have issues because I am obsessed with Wemby.
Yes, you are.
However.
Yes, you are.
Unlike that comment, I am not high and I am not stupid. I'm going to go LeBron, in my opinion, the second greatest basketball player of all time behind Michael Jordan.
Okay.
And Luka, who's 25 years old and now pissed off for greatness and has the opportunity to become one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
Yep.
De'Aaron Fox, I think, is at his ceiling. I've told you this. I've talked about this on Banner before.
Yeah.
Love him. But I think he's in his prime right now, and I think he's as good as he's going to get. Wemby, we know, is just scratching the surface. So both of them still have a lot of work to do, in other words.
I would like to see what De'Aaron Fox can do if Popovich does come back and coach this team and see what kind of tricks of the trade he teaches them. And obviously see what he does with a Chris Paul, an all-time great point guard, teaches him the tricks of the trade too. But, man, I don't know if he's just at his peak just yet. But I'll accept that. What about this one? James Harden and Kawhi Leonard.
Oh, please.
The other LA duo. Okay.
Next.
Excuse me.
Next.
A duo that everyone was really excited about as well that blew up the internet. Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay. This is more of a comp to me because, listen, Dame, I guess, in this case would play the role of Luka, and then Giannis would play the role of LeBron.
Yes.
Giannis is a physical freak, the nature in which we've never seen before, just like LeBron.
Yep.
And then Dame has done things with a basketball, running the show as your quarterback, as your point guard that we have not seen before. Yep. So is Luka. The difference here is the age. You know, Dame's older.
Yeah.
Giannis is in his prime.
Yes.
LeBron's older.
Where are you going?
Luka's just scratching.
Yes.
Give me LeBron and Luka.
Okay. All right. You scared me a little bit there.
Well, this is a fair one.
There's two sides of the ball.
It's a fair one.
And when we're talking about these 4 players, I want to say that Giannis is miles and miles ahead defensively of all of these other 3 guys
all the above
that we listed. So I'm not sure if I'm rocking with that one, but okay. I'll give it to you.
You would take Giannis and Dame?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm not sure.
Well, what are you
saying? This ain't about me.
Why
this
not?
is about you.
Why not?
You stopping me. I ain't stopping you.
All right. Fair enough.
All right. So, anyways, another Eastern Conference duo, top of the East, one of the top teams in the East, Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns.
No, I'm taking LeBron and Luka. I like what the Knicks are doing. I like that team, and I know they will all be hurt by the time the playoffs roll around, and then trying to play through injury, and they'll get
LeBron
bounced.
and Luka wouldn't be if they play with Tibbs.
Well, they're not. So I think JJ Redick will give them a day off or 2.
Fair enough. All right. What about this is the old school one, our first old school one. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, that is old school. But we're going present. We're going present, right? Because I've been doing all this present.
Well, these guys, I'm saying
We're not
the
doing
version
like
of
primes.
them when they were in their at OKC. When they were at OKC together.
Oh, well, yeah, that's different. I
would
mean,
you
yeah.
rather have that OKC duo,
Man.
or right now what we got with Luka
Okay.
and LeBron?
I may have done this whole exercise wrong because I'm doing
you did
present
everything.
day.
No, you did everything right.
All
That
right,
is present
all right.
day, but that's a duo that doesn't play together anymore.
Yeah, right.
So we're
I got
taking
you.
them from OKC
Okay.
days.
All right, that's fair. I mean, they hadn't won anything yet, I guess, at that point. That's what I could point to.
Which is why I have them on the list, because LeBron and Luka haven't won. So it's always hard to compare them to, these duos, these great duos that have won. These dudes haven't even played a game together.
Sure.
yet.
I mean, Westbrook still hasn't.
Right.
KD had to go and kind of get help to learn how to win, so to speak. That was one dynamic
finals appearance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Luka's been in finals and lost, right?
Right.
That was one hell of a dynamic duo. I haven't had a chance to watch Luka and LeBron yet, obviously.
Right.
I'm just projecting. I think that's close. Just like Giannis and Dame, I'm going Luka and LeBron.
All right.
That's close, though.
What about this one? Another old school duo. We got Dwayne Wade and Shaquille O'Neal.
I'm biased because I was in Miami when that team won a title on accident. I was I happened to be on vacation.
You told us this story.
Oh, my God.
Hey, everyone go back to episode 1.
Bro, like
where
literally.
Travis told us that story.
It was
with our boy
unreal.
Antoine, man.
It was unreal.
Yeah.
Like being there and seeing that. I mean, I just will never forget it. But I also, because I was there and because I watched it,
yes,
Dwayne Wade carried Shaq.
Right.
Okay? Not that Shaq was a scrub.
Right.
But he carried Shaq. And so I'm gonna go Luka and LeBron here because I don't believe LeBron's gonna have to carry Luka or vice versa.
I picked this duo because this is a lot like this Luka and LeBron duo. A Shaq aging. You know what I mean?
But LeBron's got more
at the end of his prime. But
he's got more than Shaq.
Shaq was still very good. Very good.
But look, this Laker LeBron's better.
An emerging star in Luka and Dwayne Wade. That's why I put these two on.
No, it's fair. I get the comparison, but this Laker LeBron has more than that Heat Shaq.
I'm taking that Wade and Shaq. I'm just saying that.
They won a title. Can't argue.
Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, Celtics.
Oh, man.
Championship duo.
Yeah, that's
now.
tough.
We're getting into championship
it's hard
duos.
when you start talking the titles, right? I mean, listen, I think because of the dynamic playmaking of Luka and the dynamic playmaking of LeBron, I would take it over it. KG was specific. Paul Pierce was dynamic. KG at that stage.
No.
KG's my favorite player.
You're
so
not
it's
telling
not
me that.
slander.
You're not. No. You're not doing that.
KG was shot blocking. KG was grabbing
Travis
boards.
Thomas.
KG was your spiritual leader.
Look at me in the eye.
I am.
You're not doing that.
What do you mean?
You're not. No.
LeBron and Luka with the ball?
Pierce.
What do you mean?
And Kevin Garnett at their peak when they were with the Celtics together, winning a championship.
I don't think
08.
that was their peak. I don't think that was KG's peak.
No,
I think KG would tell you that.
I'm not rocking with that.
I think KG would tell you his peak was in Minnesota.
I'm not rocking with that one. I'm taking Paul Pierce and KG. I'm just saying. What about this Celtics duo, the current one, Tatum and Brown, JT,
another champion.
and JB?
Yeah, another champ. Okay, so I'm actually glad you did this.
Yes.
Because I would take Tatum and Brown, and here's why. It's kind of what I just said about Luka and LeBron and why I took them over KG and Paul Pierce. Tatum and Brown are both dynamic with the ball. That's where I'm at with this. Luka can bring the ball up and do anything. LeBron can bring the ball up and do anything. I don't believe KG and Paul Pierce could have. KG's not doing that.
Okay.
Tatum and Brown can. The same things Luka and LeBron can do, they can do it, and they have the ring. I would take the current Celtics duo, although I wonder if we're going to get the longevity that we hope we get.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
I don't think we're getting longevity.
I don't either.
With either of these duos, to be honest, and that might be a hot take.
LeBron and Luka are
we already
obvious.
had the longevity with Tatum and Brown. We've had
That's
it,
right.
but I think it's coming to an end.
That's
somewhat
right. We agree
soon.
there.
Right.
We agree there.
All right. Anyways, what about Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen? Last one, easy and simple.
I mean, listen, you got to go Jordan and Pippen.
Okay.
Obviously.
Yes.
And if you see a theme to what I'm doing, it's because this is how I'm breaking this down. I need guys that can get their own shot.
Sure.
Pippen without Jordan looked like the MVP of the league to me. So Pippen was completely capable of being the man. It's very similar to Tatum and Brown. Okay? So obviously with Jordan, the GOAT, Pippen acquiesced, as he should. He took a back seat, and he was smart for it. But I think Luka and LeBron, although they're not going to have as long together, if I'm LeBron, and we've seen him do it with D-Wade.
Yeah.
I mean, at times we saw him do it with Kyrie. I think in recent years saw him do it with AD. AD was the best player on that team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think if LeBron's smart here, he gets Luka focused for sure, dialed in, locked in, and takes a backseat. I really do. But I'll go Jordan Pippen, obviously.
Yes, obviously. Yeah, that was an easy one. It's the last one. So that was it, Travis. Great job.
Well, hey, listen. I mean, by the way,
some of them were a little shaky.
Some
were a little
when are
shaky.
they not? By the way, this show is called Hold My Banner. We will be talking Celtics. Believe that. But first, Red Sox spring training is here, and everyone's watching closely to see if this team is playoff bound in 2025. We know you have a lot of questions about the Sox future. We asked the players, coaches, execs, alum, all those same questions on Nesson's Baseball Podcast, 310 and Left. You can find it on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and wherever else you get your podcast. Tay, the last time we saw the Celtics, they escaped with a win against the Pelicans.
Yeah.
And then they beat the 76ers, a big comeback over the weekend as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the East right now, they're still behind Cleveland. We know they're going head-to-head. You got the Knicks there. You got the Pacers. Bucks, quiet as kept, winning quietly, but they're right there. Then the Heat, Pistons, and Magic. And then you got a bunch of play-in teams. So no shockers here. I told you on this show leading into this road trip that I thought the Celtics would kind of get their swagger back. I thought the Rockets coming into Boston and beating the hell out of the Celtics, I thought that took a lot out of them. And I thought going on the road against the Pellies, I thought that would be a 20-point win. It was, and it turned out to be closer than I thought.
Game winner.
I knew the Sixers would be a tough fight.
Yeah.
But it seems to me anyway, Tay, the Celtics on this road trip got their swagger back.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. And then, I say the Celtics are inconsistent. They're not playing championship level basketball. I know I've been a huge proponent of it doesn't matter. Celtics in 5, Celtics in 4.
You've said it in that voice too.
Celtics in 5. You know what I'm saying? So, I've been on that wave. And don't get me wrong, do I still believe today in my heart that the Celtics will be hoisting up the Larry O.B. at the end of the 2025 NBA season?
Against the Thunder?
Against the Thunder. Yes. I wholeheartedly do.
All right.
But at the same time, it does worry me a little bit that they continue to put out dud after dud after dud. Now, I will give them credit for that 76ers win. 76ers, it was a comeback win. They got down. That's the mark of a champion, that you come back. Should they have been in that position down 26? No. Especially with no Joel Embiid in that game. Because when they lost to the 76ers on Christmas, I attributed it to the fact that the Celtics have a hard time guarding physical offensive bigs. They have a hard time doing that. But no Embiid in this game, they had no excuse to be down 26. But they came back and won. And that's all that you can ask, which is what Travis is telling you.
Yeah.
They got their swagger back because they finished games. Tatum hit a game winner.
Man, that was
in a situation where they could have got shook and they could have lost. But he went and did what he was supposed to do. Didn't go to the sidestep 3 that everybody thought he was going to do.
That's right.
Got to a shot that he's really, really comfortable with in the mid-range and hit it. Now, if we're looking around the East, I like the Cavaliers. I think that they're doing a really good job. I like the Knicks. I like what they're doing. I think they're doing a really good job. I'm even surprised that the Pacers are doing a good job, considering that they're once again saying, we're going to trade Miles Turner. We're shopping Miles Turner for the 18th time. What I'm most shocked about in the East that I wanted to talk to you about before we move on and tell everybody our League Pass games is, what happened to the Orlando Magic?
Yeah.
What happened to them?
They
were in the 4 seed when Paolo came back. They were floating. Everybody was happy. And then after you look, the last 15 games or so, they've just been so inconsistent. And I don't know what happened there. So I'm nervous for that team right now.
Hey, new look Mavs. Next game, And then Knicks, who are playing well, both of these games at home.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think the Celtics have their swag back. As far as a League Pass game to watch before we get out of here, I'm going to go the Heat and the 76ers tonight. I mean, both teams are still trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. Both teams have superstar drama.
Yeah.
And they're both fighting for playoff spots. I'll watch. I feel like it's going to be scrappy.
Yeah, I would like to see that scrappy game. So I gave you a game right after that because I didn't want to conflict with Travis's game or anything like that. I gave you Orlando at the Kings because, once again, I need to see what's going on with Orlando. I haven't been paying attention as closely as I was at the beginning of the season, as closely when Paolo was out because, I had some other things to watch. You guys are yelling at me about Jokic, yelling at me about the Rockets. So I've been locked in on those teams, really figuring out who they are and seeing what some of these other guys, disgruntled Stars, Suns, Heat, what they're up to. So I'm going to lock in on this game. It should be the first game of Zach LaVine's career as a Sacramento King as well. I want to see both of these teams match up, and I think it'll be a good one late night.
Hey, man, kudos to the NBA. I mean, honestly, they're trying to figure out how to generate more interest and get the ratings. I said this at the top of the show. This is one way to do it. Trade every damn body. Change teams, superstars, role players, doesn't matter. Change teams like changing furniture.
Yeah.
And then the ratings should go up. We'll see if that happens or not. We appreciate all of you here on Hold My Banner. For Ante Campbell, the walking, talking triple-double.
Yeah.
And Travis Thomas, just a guy. Thank you for rolling with us on Hold My Banner.
Just a guy.
Just a guy. Till next time when we ask you to hold it again, peace.
Deuces.